Hello everyone, I am Amit Kumar, Assistant Professor in IT Department. Today I am going to give a lecture on relational model which comes under the database management system. So what is relational model? A relational model uses a collection of tables to represent both data and relationship among those data. Each table has multiple columns and each column has a unique name. Tables are also known as relation. This is the important part. Tables are also known as relation. Okay. The relational model is an example of a record-based model. Record-based model are so named because the database is structured in fixed format records of several types. Each table contains records of a particular type. Then each record type defines a fixed number of fields or attributes. It defines a fixed number of fields and attributes. I am going to explain all the things. The columns of the table correspond to the attribute of the record type. The relational data model is the most widely used data model, and a vast majority of current database systems are based on the relational model. The relational model represents data as well as those data which are related to each other or directly or indirectly. Each table has the multiple columns, means we have the data set, or we can say the database have the multiple columns, and those and the tables have their own relations. So here it is written, tables are also known as a relation. The relational model is example of record based model. Record based model means it is storing all the data with the records. Means if I am saying database of a student, it is a record of students. Like if I am taking the data DBMS as a third year, so third year's data, the third year students data should be in the record base. So this is the record based model. Next, a relational model represents how data is stored in relational databases. The relational model shows how we are storing our data in a relational database. A relational database consists of a collection of tables, each of which is assigned a unique name. Means the relational database having the collection of tables, but they have assigning a unique name. Consider there is an example over here. Consider a relation of students with attributes roll number, name, address, phone number and age. These are the attributes for the student, and for this the roll number is a unique key. Okay, this for the roll number is a unique key for all the students, because the first name is common and most of these the second name also is a common, but this is an example where the relational database, how relational models showing you to store the relational databases. Next, some important terminologies is using in this relational model. First is attributes. Attributes or columns are the properties that define an entity, like roll number, name and address. Attributes means the column name, we can say here the attributes. The relational schema. A relational schema defines the structure of the relation and represent the name of the relation with its attributes. Like the schema defines the structure of a relation, where what is the schema of that relational model, and represent the relation with the attributes. Like student, if we are taking a model or we are creating a database of the student, then roll number, name, address, phone and age is the relational schema for the student. If a schema has more than one relation, then it is called the relational schema. Next, this is cleared about the schema. Now the tuples. Each row in a relation is known as tuple. Means we have the two words, attributes and tuples. If the rows we are saying, then it will say as a tuple, and the columns are says as the attributes that it is written. Sorry, that is written over here, and row in the relation is known as tuple. This one. Okay. Now relation instance. The set of tuples of a relation at a particular instance of a time is called a relational instance. Means the set of tuples of a relation particularly timing in that time, then it is called the relational instance. Table 1 shows the relation of instance of a student at a particular time. This is a table 1 where shows the relational instance of a student at a particular time. It can change whenever there is a insertion, deletion and updation in the database. We can update the databases when we need it, and when the instance is requiring, then it is that we can update, we can insert, we can delete in the database. Next, degree. The number of attributes in the relation is known as the degree of a relation. How many attributes of the relation is known as the degree of the relation. The student relation defined above has a 5 because there are 5 attributes: roll number, name, address, phone and age. These 5 are the attributes. Okay, these 5 are the degree of that relation. Cardinality. The number of a tuple in a relation is known as cardinality. The student relation defined above has the cardinality 4 because they are the number of tuples in a relation having the cardinality. Null values. The value which is not known or unavailable is called a null value. It is represented by a blank space, like we can write it in null. Okay. Relation key. These are basic key that are used to identify the rows uniquely or also help in the identifying table. These are the following types: primary key, candidate key, super key, foreign key, alternate key and composite key. Next, first is super key. Super key is the set of all the keys which helps to identify row in a table uniquely. This means that all those columns of a table then capable of identifying the other column, that table uniquely will be considered super key. Like if we have to know what is the super key of this table, we can say the roll number is the super key because it will be identified uniquely over here. Like if the roll number 1 has the Ram and the address is Delhi and the phone number has been given and the age, so the roll number is the super key. Second, Ramesh also, roll number 2, roll number 3 and roll number 4. If you will take name as a super key, you can take it name as a super key, but when the first name is common, then it will not happen because it will be the uniquely. So for the super key. Okay, this I have explained. Now the primary key. Primary key is a column of a table or a set of column that helps to identify every record present in that table uniquely. There can be only one primary key in a table. Also, the primary key cannot have the same values repeating for any row. This is most important line. Primary key in a table is only one, and the primary key cannot have the same values repeating for any row. Primary key, as we are writing primary key as a pk, constants put on a column or set of columns will not allow them to have any null value or any duplicates. Any value in the primary key cannot be changed for any foreign key which refers to it. Now, for the primary key, you can make anyone as a primary key and it can't be null and it will be uniquely for this one. That is written, it will be not repeated. For this table or for this database, you can the name of the students you can put at a primary key, or otherwise you can put roll number also. This is your dependency, whether the database having you are looking into this, you can do it. Now, candidate key. Candidate key are those attributes that uniquely identify rows of a table. The primary key of a table is selected from one of the candidate key. Means the candidate key is a minimal super key. Means the super key has all the thing, but the primary the candidate key all the having, but we can identify that row is a uniquely, that is known as the candidate key. There can be more candidate keys in the database. There can be more candidate key. You can just put for any one table. Every candidate key carries unique information and values. Beside this, characteristics or combinations of attributes also works as a set of candidate key. Now, for this the candidate key, you can make the phone number and address of this one. you can make it. Now alternate key, all candidate key except primary key will act as a alternate key for this particular relation. If you have chosen roll number as a primary key, then all the attributes or all the columns, you can say all the alternate key for this relational model. Next is foreign key. Foreign key is used to establish relationship between two tables. A foreign key will require each value in a column or set in a column to match the primary key for the referential table. Means if we have the two tables and we want to merge these two tables, so we are using the foreign key. Foreign key helps to maintain data and referential integrity. Means the foreign key helps us to maintain our data and the referential integrity from one table to second table. So and many more tables you can use it. Foreign key are essential for maintaining a difference between two entities that might be linked or the same information but do not share similar information. The foreign key do not share the similar information, but they are the two different databases which are going to be merged for the essential for using the SQL command. These are the two tables, like one have the you can say the student table and second is course table. So roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3 and roll number 4, these are the names and the address, phone number and age having there. So the and the next table there is course ID, roll number 1 to 4 and course name is this. So you can merge the roll number in the table 1 and second table. Means what I am saying, this from the table 1 and this from the table 2. You can use it by these two can be the foreign key, and you can use which student. Say I am saying Ram having address Delhi, phone number, age is 18 and which course ID he is took 1 2 3, which course name BTech. You can use this one as a foreign key. Like there is a given example of it. Roll number 2 Ramesh is from Gurgaon and his phone number is this and the age is this and course ID is 231 with MCA. 4 Suresh have the Delhi, you can put your roll number like 1 2 3 4 5 what happened and the age, and it is associated with course ID 312 with BSc. So you can use the foreign key like this. Now unique key. Unique key is a column or set of columns that uniquely identify each record in a table. All values will have to be uniquely in this key. As I have told, unique key means it is a unique from all the tables. It can't be null. It is a very much important key in all aspects. A unique key differs from a primary key. Unique key is different from the primary key because it can have only one null value, whereas a primary key cannot have the null value. In unique key, you can put a null value, only one null value in one attribute, but after that it can't be. But primary key cannot be a null value. Among the 7 types of key available in the DBMS, a few other types of keys in SQL are also accessible, and that they are called artificial keys. Means as I have given all the keys about what we are going to use, but all other types of keys also are available and accessible. Those keys are called as the artificial keys. And artificial has no relevance or meaning to the business, but it often used to tackle conflict data managing situation. Means it having the it is using for the conflicting data and managing the situations of the databases, how much it is going to be used. For example, if there is no attributes that comprises all records, primary key property, or if the primary key are complex. Means if there is no attribute and if we are comparing with the database, then primary key property is existing, then the primary key we can give that attribute as a primary key name, but if it is a too complex, then we have to solve this one. This is the artificial key. What are the constraints in relational model? While designing the relational model, we define some conditions which must hold the data present in the database are called constraints. These constraints are checked before performing any operation like insertion, deletion and updation in the database. If there is any violence in the constant, the operation will fail. Means if there is any duplicacy or any error, then it will be fail. Domain constant, first type. Domain, these are the attribute level constant, and attributes can only have take the value of lie in the domain range. If constant we have given age is greater than 0 is applied to the student relation, then inserting a negative value of age will result in the failure, and it will say the operation is going to be fail. So this is the constant. You can give the constant as a proper value, like if we have given the student's age is greater than 0, then it can't be negative value. Second, key constant. Key constants are regulations that a DBMS uses to ensure data accuracy and consistency in a database. They define how the values in a tables, one or more columns, are related to the values in other tables, making sure that the data remains correct. Means the key constants are saying that they have to maintain the data accuracy and the consistency of a database. And in the table, one or two more columns are related to each other, then make sure the data remains correct for this one. In DBMS, there are several key constants, including primary key constant. A primary key constant is an individual identifier for each record in a database. It guarantees that each database entry contain a single distinct value or a pair of values that cannot be a null. This is important. As I have told you that one, the primary key cannot be null as its method for the identification. Next, foreign key constant. Reference to a primary key in another table is known as foreign key constant. It ensures that the value of a column or set of column in one table correspond to the primary key column, okay, and in the primary key column in another table. Just I have told you the roll number of a student can be from one table and the roll number is from the second table. That can be the primary key column, and that can be the foreign key constant. Unique constant. In a database, a unique constant ensures that no two value inside in a column or collections of columns are the same. There in a unique constants, no two columns or no two tuples can be same. Third, entity integrity constant. A database manages systems uses entity integrity constant to enforce rules that guarantee a table primary key is unique and not null. It means the tables having the primary key is a unique and it is a not null. The consistency and integrity of the data in a database are maintained by entity integrity constants, which are created to stop the formation of duplicate or incomplete entries. Next, referential integrity constant. A database management system will apply referential integrity constant in order to preserve the consistency and integrity of connections between the tables. It means it will maintain the consistency and integrity, means preserve. The data should be integrate and the consistent for that in the database. That is known as the referential integrity constant. By preventing links between entries that doesn't exist from being created, or by removing recording that have related record to other table. Referential integrity constant guarantees that the data in a database is always consistent. This is most important part for the referential integrity constant, that all the database is always be consistent. For example, as I have took the example, consider the order and the customer table. The order table and the customer table. Primary key columns in the customer database correspond to the foreign key of customer ID in the order data set. Okay, means the column customer and customer ID, customers from the customer table and the customer ID from the order table. The RIC on these connections required to each value of the customer ID columns and order database exists in a customer table primary key columns. Means customer ID can be the primary key for this one from the order database, and the customers table for primary key column from the customers. If any attempt was made to insert a record into the order table with a non-existent non-existence customer ID value, the database management system would reject the insertion and notify the user of an error. Means if there is a no user ID and you are inserting a value for that one, it will show you error and it will reject your query for the insertions. And and the DBMS will notify you that there is an error. Similar to this, the database management system would either prohibit the deletions or cascade the deletions in the order to ensure referential integrity for record. The customer table was removed and linked entry in the order table. It means the customer table is linked with the order table for that one. Anomalies. An anomaly is an irregularity or sometimes which deviated from the expected or normal state. When designing databases, we identify three types of anomalies: insert, update and delete. For inserting, we cannot insert a row in referencing relation if referencing attribute values is not present in the referred attribute value. We can't insert values if there is a no table or no tuple or non attributes for that one. For the deletion, we can't delete or update a row from referential relation if the value of referred attributes is used the value of referencing attributes. What is the advantages of the relational model? It is a simple, flexible, secure, data accuracy, data integrity and operational. It is a simple how? It is easy to use. It is a flexible more than other relational model. It is a secure because relational model provides the security for the other relational model. Accuracy because it is accurate. There is no error in the databases. And the integrity, it is maintaining the integrity of the database, and the operation you can perform any operation with the relational model. The disadvantage of the relational model are it is not good for the large database, it is for the small databases. Sometimes it becomes difficult to find the relation between the tables. What are the relation between the tables for this one? And this is a more complex structure when response time for query is very high. The characteristics of a relational model: data is represented in a row or column called relational. You can say tuple and attributes, row and columns. Data is stored in a row having relationship between the relational model. The relational model support the operations like data definition, data manipulation, transaction management and many more operations over there. Each column has a distinct name and they are representing as attributes, and they are the unique attributes for each columns. Each row represent a single entity, means you can say each row can provide a single tuple also.